Oh, namaste. What's up, everybody? So I was driving home listening to a talk, and this very deep revelation hit me. And I wanted to talk about it before I forgot about it, because it's something to think of. When we were first taught about truth, it was described to us almost like it's an object, an outside object. In school, they taught us about true and false, and how some things are true, like the fact that I'm a man would be true, and the fact that I'm a bird would be false. Or in school, they talk about what's called facts. They give you dates of when things happened, and they say that's a fact, because everybody agrees that that's what happened that date. What if we have it wrong? How many times have we believed that something was true in society? Like, for example, the earth being flat. For a long time, everybody believed that the earth was flat, and that if you went on a ship far enough, you would fall off the earth. And then some scientists and people, pioneers of astronomy, by studying the stars, came to the realization that it's not flat, that it's round. But that doesn't change the fact that for a long time, everyone was convinced of something that was then proven to be false. So it makes me think about how truth is more of a perspective than an object. Let's take this concept a little further and say, well, what if truth has more to do with your experience? What if your truth is everything that you're seeing right now? It feels real, whether you're depressed or having a blissful day. Either way, it feels true to you. It feels like that is what you are dealing with at that moment. That is what you are. What if truth is not a set thing, but something that's fluid, something that moves with you in real time? This topic is very tough to talk about because language isn't designed to talk about something that doesn't have an opposite, and it's just what is. Your truth and my truth can be very different, but yet who's to say that your truth is more true than my truth? What if it's not about finding a truth that we can both agree on? What if it's more about resonating with what is here and making that your truth? I'm at a loss for words because it's like I can articulate what I'm trying to say, but I can't at the same time. It's something that is more of a transmission beyond words. It's kind of like when somebody speaks something and you get those chills down your spine where you know that what they're speaking is truth. How can you articulate that into words? Or vice versa, when you can feel that somebody's being deceptive. You can't prove it. You can't be like, hey, you're lying to me. Because if they ask you why, you won't know how to express to them that you know they're lying. But there's a subtler language going on that we're not always able to communicate. Not in the way that we're used to in this realm. You could say that this moment is truth. Right now. Whatever it is you're dealing with is your truth. And anything you do to run away from the moment that you're in is false. It's kind of like, imagine that you're on a train, right? And the train is headed to a set destination. But yet in the train, you can walk around. You can go forward, backwards, left, right. You can go anywhere you want on the train. But try as you might, you could be in the first passenger car of the train, the one all the way in the front, and you could run to the last one. There could be 100 carts on this train, and you could run through every single cart all the way to the final cart at the end of the train. And although you might think to yourself, you know, I'm moving, I'm changing my location, the train is still going where it's going. So it's an illusion to believe that you're doing anything. And every cart on this train symbolizes your thoughts, your thinking, your actions. Or you can just sit in the cart that you're in and watch what happens. Watch where the train takes you. Enjoy the ride. Which is self-mastery. It sounds so simple to just stop and live in truth. It's really that simple. It's so simple though that we miss it, because as soon as you're done thinking one thought and listening to the thought and doing whatever it is the thought compels you to do, there's another thought. And we're in this vicious cycle of hearing a thought, internalizing the thought, and then reacting on the thought. And most of us live our lives on this hamster wheel without even realizing that we're on this hamster wheel. What I'm inviting you to see is the hamster wheel, and see how you've been running on it and how you can get off of it. But you can't get off of something that's moving because you'll probably get hurt. So the best way to get off of something that's moving is to stop and then get off. We can't stop and get off our thinking patterns if we continue to think. And it's the very thinking that's causing us to keep thinking. So it's a vicious cycle. It's the wheel of samsara, as the Hindus call it. The sea of suffering. Because we always feel like there's one more thing we have to take care of. I know if I stop and surrender, I'll reach enlightenment, but I need to do one more thing first. And that thought keeps us enslaved, keeps us in sin, keeps us missing the mark, keeps us deluded, keeps us asleep. Because anytime that you're thinking a thought and believing it, you're in a trance. You're being hypnotized by an idea of what you think is true. Any thought is already taking you out of your present moment, your truth. Because truth cannot be itemized. The present moment cannot be explained or identified, because by identifying the present moment, you are taking yourself out of the next present moment. Because the present moment is in real time. It's beyond time and space. So how can you express something that's beyond time in time using words that were designed in time? This is getting deep. So I hope you're staying with me. I highly recommend you guys to read or to listen to the audiobook The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, because he does a great job speaking about all this stuff. He gives a parable of we have to be like the servant waiting for their master to get home and not wondering when he's going to get home, but just staying in a place where we just are open, that as soon as the next moment comes, it will be what we want it to be at that moment. I'm probably losing some of you because I'm losing myself. This stuff, there's a reason why very few people become enlightened. It's not something you can just read about and pick up and understand. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of dedication. I've been studying this stuff for close to 15 years, and I still feel like I'm just scratching the surface. In ancient times, when a devotee wanted to be devoted to a master, the master would make them wait outside of the temple for weeks, in the rain, in the snow, because the master knew how much work it takes to really start to understand this stuff. Luckily for us, we live in a fast-paced society where we have so much wisdom and knowledge around us that I feel that we can definitely shorten the time. But there's also a lot of traps we can fall into. A lot of traps that I have fallen into, and I continue to fall into. So I do these talks in hope that you avoid some of the traps that I have fallen into by hearing the things that I have to say. And the illusion of thought is one of them that I continue to fall into. The minute somebody says they're enlightened, they're not enlightened. Because how can something that is outside of time and space reach something that is outside of time and space? Enlightenment is something that happens through us, not to us. the only way it can happen through us is when the identity that we think we are dies. And then we are clear enough to be a mirror for the cosmos to express itself through its infinite intelligence. So that's what this is about. Becoming that channel, that vessel for all that is to be all that is. I am picking up some stuff, so I'm gonna head out and end this video, but I hope you got something out of this. I know I'm gonna listen to it again and see if any of it makes sense, because a lot of the time this stuff doesn't make sense to our physical mind. It makes sense to our soul, to our spirit. Much love to you guys. Namaste. Peace.